like it. And basically the idea is that you had these separate jobs in the past of programmer, product manager, and designer. And I've been describing what's happening in the Valley companies as sort of this three-way Mexican standoff where the programmers think that they don't need the product managers and the designers anymore because they can have AI do that. And then each of the other two doesn't think they need the other two either. And what I've been predicting is like they're all correct. The product manager can generate code and design now, and so each of them can do the job of all three. And so the idea is the job's changed, and so now the job is builder. And you might come in.
It really works out to create software if it's going to be used at least like 1 million times or something. I'm giving maybe it's 10,000 times or whatever. And my point is like, if you want to go build a product today, you need a whole team of engineers. Engineers are expensive. You got to pay salaries. You got to go build all this out, and you got to go and do that, right? You need that software to be used enough times or to create enough value for that to be worth it, right? And something like YouTube passes that test because obviously so many hours have been spent on building YouTube, but way more hours have been spent on using YouTube, and that's what's made that work out and made it feasible, right? But there's so many things out there which only, very specific things that only need to be used a few times or even like only need to be used once.
Like
right?
no one's using it enough. No one's using it enough. Partly because everyone just starts with like, hey, let's help me do the things that I've been doing all along slightly better or actually vastly better, which is valuable, obviously. But like if you do with more first principle things like, hey, if AI would have been around ever since Alan Turing first wrote about it and would just have worked, and we are just in the presence of these super intelligence all the time, and we would just invent the job we are thinking about right now. Like, how would we do it? Like, just invert the whole thing.
People building today is we started as a solution in search of a problem, which is not really something you're supposed to do when you're starting a company. Where we were really excited by AI and all the opportunities it afforded, and then from that we got to a place of we want to build the best way to code with AI. We want to eventually automate programming and replace it with something much better. And that's a very non-lean startup idea.
The business model is tricky. ChatGPT, there is no yet consumer business model for AI that I've seen. For example, ChatGPT, there's 3 ways it can monetize. Subscriptions, unfortunately, they're probably going to hit a local maximum percentage of users subscribing because Claude and Gemini are given away for free. Ads, again, they're hitting a local maximum because Claude, Gemini are not going to do ads. And then e-commerce, they shut down the third-party apps. And the inference costs are expensive enough that, it's just, they're burning a lot of money. And so I think the first thing is you need to have a business model around consumer AI. You can't just be in a business of information because people are not trained to pay for information. They're not trained to do that. So that's the first problem.
I'm not a fan of, get your data estate completely in gear for the next 12 months before you do anything. I tell people I want proof every week. By the way, this is the standard demand that I have of my team. So much progress can be made in 1 week that we should have shorter planning cycles. And to your point, I don't make 2-year plans because if things are getting better, take your pick, 15, 20% every week, 20% compounded for a year is like an unimaginable number. It's like 1.2 multiplied by itself 50 times. It's a very large number.
I just ignored all of that. I just assumed the model is just going to get better faster than I would figure out how to use it. It would figure out how to use me faster than I would figure out how to use it. And so I've just been completely ham-fisted with them, and I get frustrated at them and just sort of, I've found myself typing less and less information and doing less and less work as time goes on with the models because I just assume I can brute force my way through it. And I'll throw Codex, Claude, and Gemini at the same problem over and over and just waste tokens to save time. And I think no matter how expensive these models might seem, they're still way cheaper than a human. So I would say just waste tokens, save time. Don't look at the tokens either as inputs or outputs. Just look at your time and look at the final output.
And so the bottleneck has shifted, which is really interesting, right? It's from a problem of attention where many problems just go unlooked at. Many of these Erdős problems just, probably weren't solved because nobody had really focused on them, to a problem of verification where an AI model and some compute will propose a solution, and now you need to figure out whether it's correct.